Hello everyone, welcome to another Pokemon trading card game video. You'll have to excuse me if my voice sounds a little weird. I was just eating some ice cream in between matches and this one just started so quickly, didn't have time to finish it, so my tongue is a little numb. Anyway, so this is the finals of the St. Louis Pokemon Winter Regional Championships 2016. On our left, we have Dalen with a Vespiquen deck, and on our right, we have Brad, who we just saw yesterday, won against the Sableye deck with his own Yveltal Darkrai deck. Now, fun enough, this exact matchup was what was the finals at last week's regionals, and for good reason. They are two of the most consistent decks in the expanded format. Anyway, so Brad, it does seem he's going first. He has an Yveltal active with an energy on it, and he has another Yveltal that he just put on the bench. Dalen started with a Wobbuffet with Bide Barricade, shuts down all abilities except those belonging to Psychic-type Pokemon. It seems these are the only decks that I've showcased this weekend, but it seems to be for a good reason. These are the most consistent decks. They seem to consistently win games, and seems to be the ones that people like playing the most. There are plenty of other decks out there. I believe we saw a few Excelgor with deck and cover. We saw a few Manectric, but I didn't manage to record any of them. And this is the finals. This is the most important match of the whole weekend, because this match determines which one of these will be crowned the champion of the Winter Regionals. So it looks like Dalen has Ultra Ball for an Eevee, a beautiful shiny Ultra Ball there. He has Mr. Mime on the bench with Bench Barricade, and has a double colorless energy, Silver Bangle, and now he's going to Colress. So, have no doubt that Eevee is going to be a Flareon at some point. Now that Mr. Mime has a Bench Barrier, which is something that we've seen a few times. I mean, we saw that in the Plasma Freeze, Mr. Mime, but this one's a Fairy type, which means it is actually resistant to Dark, which means it's a bit more of a better option when you're going up against Dark Pokemon. Of course, you never want to make the Mr. Mime active as much as possible, but when you do, it's nice to force your opponent to do an extra 20 damage to knock it out. We do just see the pass from Dalen, and Brad looks like he used a Professor Sycamore after attaching a Floatstone and benching a Darkrai. Now, Darkrai's Dark Cloak still will not work thanks to Wobbuffet's ability. That is another thing to consider when picking your Mr. Mime. This Fairy-type Mr. Mime does not work, but the Psychic-type Pokemon Mr. Mime will. However, that is not resistant to Dark. So, just one of those things to think about when you build your deck. Anyway, we see the Trainer's Mail for Brad, and now he's going to use a Battle Compressor. I have no doubt that he's going to put Archeops and Gallade into his discard pile, just like he did all the other games we saw. Oh, it looks like he's going to actually get a bunch of Darkness energy in there. Maybe his Gallade and Archeops Array in there. No, he's going to go for Maxie's Hidden Baldric, and okay, there goes the Archeops. So we never did see Archeops or Gallade come into play during Brad's last match yesterday. Well, just a few minutes ago for me, but yesterday for you guys. The way Archeops works is once it's in play, your opponent cannot evolve any of their Pokemon. That would actually be huge in this matchup. Dalen would be unable to get Vespiquens into play. It would be unable to get Flareon into play, or Jolteon if he plays one of those. It would be really devastating. So if Brad can get an Archeops into play, that would be huge. He will attach a double colorless energy to that Darkrai, and it looks like he's just going to use Oblivion Wing for 30 and attach another Darkness energy to that Darkrai. And now it's Dalen's turn. We'll see what Dalen can manage to do here. If he has a Flareon, he can evolve right now. He's going to bench another Eevee, and sorry about the glare. I'm sure the commentators are talking about the glare just as much as I am. Now, in this matchup, it's very hard to say who has the advantage. They're both incredibly well-built decks. We see a few variances in them that we don't often see. For example, Dalen has that Execute. The Vespiquen decks that I showcased so far in my series this weekend, none of them had Execute. Now, Execute is an incredibly good Pokemon. Once it's in the discard pile, it counts as a Pokemon to use Vengeance or Be Revenge. But you can also use its propagation to put it back into your hand, to use it for things like Ultra Ball or something like that, so that you can you basically get to a free Ultra Ball off, whereas usually it would cost you 2 cards. Anyway, it looks like he just had to promote the execute and pass, and we see Dalen put down another Darkrai and a Veltali X, and man, Brad is just working really, really quickly this game. Dalen is just taking a little while to set up. We see the trainer's mail from Brad. Dalen says, you know what, if you want to knock out this execute, fine, you take a prize, but I get that thing in the discard pile. It can only benefit me. So it looks like another trainer's mail for Hypnotoxic Laser. Of course, there's no need to play that right now. Oblivion Wing will do the trick. And there's the knockout, and I'm assuming he doesn't have any Darkness Energy in his deck to attach to the bench. Yeah, that is the case. So now Brad is ahead on prizes. He has 1 prize taken. Dalen has 0. The only energy Dalen has in play is the double colorless energy on that Eevee, which, again, I'm assuming will eventually turn into a Flareon. Dalen is going to bench another Eevee. It looks like he just had to pass. Brad plays another Trainer's Mail. Trainer's Mail is one of those cards that's just incredibly useful. And he is going to get a computer search out of it. And I just realized that, well, the image changed, but the execute, that was the image. There's a huge crack in one of their heads. That's not funny. So, Brad got the computer search. Now, I'm guessing he's trying to decide what he wants to discard in order to play it. Now, computer search can get any one card, but then you have to decide which card you want. Anyway, so it looks like he's going to Oblivion Wing? Yeah, he's going to Oblivion Wing, put another third, or was that Dark Patch? I guess that was Dark Patch. And he is going to retreat into Darkrai, which is all set up now to use not Oblivion Wing, Night Spear, knock out this Wobbuffet and put 30 somewhere else. He is going to target that Eevee. Now, Darkrai EX has been out since 2012, and it has never gone away. It's gotten significantly less powerful as the years have gone by, but it's still really, really good. And I believe Brad also played a Hex Maniac, which shuts down all abilities until the end of his opponent's turn. So right now, Dalen has no abilities. He can evolve into Flareon, but then he's just going to have to pass. This Eevee is a big target from Darkrai. 1 hit, it's knocked out, and he can put another 30 onto that Flareon. Well, wait. I'm a little confused as to how he's able to do that because of Mr. Mime's ability. Maybe the ability works a little differently than I remember. I'm pretty sure it's Bench Barrier. In any case, we do see the Battle Compressor getting rid of the Gallade, and we'll have to see what else Brad decides to get rid of. Gallade and Archeops only ever belong in 2 places. On the bench, and the only way you can get it onto the bench, in the discard pile. So it looks like he is going to... Is he just going to... Yeah, he's just going to use the Battle Compressor to just get rid of the Gallade. That's the only card he wants to get rid of. He's going to computer search away this N and Darkness Energy, and maybe he'll get a VS Seeker for Maxis, which is in the discard pile. No, he's going to get a Seismitoad EX. That Flareon is weak to water. It has 30 damage on it already, so Seismitoad, Quaking Punch, Muscle Band, that'll knock it out. Shutting down items for Dalen is actually really huge for Brad. Then Dalen wouldn't be able to use float stones, wouldn't be able to do all sorts of things. So we do see the Lysander for the Flareon and the Laser, which should do exactly enough to knock it out. Huge threat gone, and Dalen's items are shut off, and Dalen has yet to even take a single prize. Brad's 3 prizes to Dalen's 6. Dalen promotes the Eevee. Actually, Dalen just scoops. Okay, that was a quick first game in Brad's favor. We'll be back in a second to see how game 2 goes. Will Brad get another quick win? Or will Dalen be able to make something work and make a huge comeback like we saw Brad himself do last round? Don't go away. Be right back in just a second. And we're back with game 2. It looks like Dalen... Oh man, it looks like Dalen started with an egg. he had to start with a Wobbuffet last game, which really ruined him for the rest of the entire game, really. Now he starts with an egg, which is one of the other things you just do not want to start with. The only thing I can think of that would be worse is maybe starting with a Shaman EX or something. Man. But anyway, it does look like he got a Battle Compressor. He's going to put three unknown directly into his discard pile right away. We see the energy go on to the execute, and now we see the N. That's just never going to die. It's one of the best supporters ever printed in most people's opinions. Let's see. I do find it interesting that he. Oh no, that's a fire energy. I'm sorry. It looked like a fighting energy. Now, fire energy is definitely a good energy to have as a basic energy in a Vespa Queen deck, especially if you run Flareon or Eevee with Energy Evolution. You attach it to Eevee, it allows for you to immediately search your deck for the Flareon and evolve straight into it, even on your first turn. Dallin was unable to do that last game, but he does have the energy on this execute, and he might be able to retreat it right now, hopefully. Looks like no, he was not able to. So it's Brad's turn. Pretty sure. Yeah, Brad attaches a Darkness Energy to Darkrai. Dallin's just not having good luck at all with his draws. He didn't get a single Combi into play last game. Okay, it looks like Brad just had to play a Hex Maniac and pass. All abilities are shut down for Dallin. So, man, Dallin was unable to get a Combi. He was unable to get a Flareon and make it useful. Oh, and he has to Juniper away a Flareon. Oh, man. And did he Juniper away a Shaman? Man, that's just not good. A lot of cards that Dallin just had to get rid of there in order to hope for something good. There is the Eevee. There's the Life Dew on the Eevee. Life Dew is an amazing ace-spec to have in this deck. Actually, it turns out that Callaghan had Life Dew in his deck as well. He was just unable to... It was just prized a lot for those of you who watched my video yesterday. So, now we see the VS Seeker. Dallin got something else. And now he just has to pass. Anyway, we do see Brad get a Trainer's Mail and get an Ultra Ball off of it. He's going Ultra Ball away. I'm assuming the Gallade. Yep, there goes the Gallade. And, ooh, a Dark Patch. Something you really don't want to discard unless you absolutely have to. But in this case, he's getting a Shaman out of it, so it's not the end of the world. And guys, we're one game down, and we've already started the second game, and we still have a full hour of this series. Now, Top Cut is 80 minutes plus 3 turns. All the Swiss rounds are 50 minutes plus 3 turns. This allows for the players to have a bit more time to get all 3 games in before it goes to time. Of course, it does sometimes still go to time. If you guys watched the Pokemon National Championships last year, in which Jason Klasinski won his first Nationals, you know that it definitely went to time. And then it went to sudden death beyond even that. That was a very long game. It was like, I think, literally 2 hours. But that's just how the rules work. Anyway, so we'll see what Brad's able to do now. He does have a Float Stone on that Darkrai. There's really no need to have a Float Stone because of Dark Cloak, but it's nice to be redundant just in case Dallin gets another Wobbuffet into play. There's the Hypnotoxic Laser, and there's the Poison. I guess he flipped Tails on the Sleep, and there we see the Professor Sycamore. Now, if Brad gets a Verbank City Gym, this execute is dead. Oh wait, no, there's the Sleep flip, and it's heads. So execute is asleep, but like I said, all Brad needs is a Verbank City Gym, and the execute's knocked out. Doesn't even need to attack, folks. If Dallin had been unable to get another basic into play, Brad would actually win right here. There is the Verbank City Gym, and now without even attacking, Brad is going to take a prize on his first turn of this game as well. And there's the Darkrai EX on the bench. Looks like Brad's going to be attacking mostly with Darkrai this game. And looks like he will be retreating into this small Yveltal without an energy on it, but still, it's able to attack for only 1 energy instead of needing 3 like Darkrai does. And there is the pass for the knockout, which used to happen quite a lot. Now it doesn't happen too often, but it does still happen. Brad gets a prize by doing absolutely nothing, and now it's Dallin's turn again. He does have the Flareon. He does... Ooh, there's the Juniper. Getting rid of another Juniper. Oh, man. He's getting rid of all sorts of precious resources, just hoping he can pull off something here to win. Anyway, he needs one more energy on this Flareon to attack. Vengeance does 20, as you can see, 20 plus 10. Okay, we do see the propagation from Execute. Maybe he's going to use an Ultra Ball here. Yes, he is. He's going to get rid of an Ultra Ball and the Execute. Maybe he can get his Combi into play now. All he has is that Mr. Mime on the bench. It's not the most threatening thing to an Yveltal. Now he's going to go for another Eevee. Okay, he still needs the energy on this active Flareon to attack. Luckily, it does have the life due on it, and it's very unlikely Brad runs a Tool Scrapper or a Startling Megaphone. There's the double colorless energy on this Flareon. Unfortunately, he did have to attach that instead of a fire energy. But hey, he could use Heat Tackle if that does more, but I think Vengeance will do more regardless. So there is the Vengeance for 100. 30 short of knocking out this Yveltal. Probably just hoping Brad does not have a fire energy to attack. Brad will be using the Battle Compressor, getting rid of a Darkness energy, and we'll see if he decides to get rid of one or two other cards. Battle Compressor allows for you to discard up to 3 cards from your deck, but it has to be 1 minimum. That's just the way the rules work. So he is getting rid of the Archeops and 2 Darkness energy. I guess he's looking forward to using Oblivion Wing soon and utilizing all of that. There is the Dark Patch, so he's at least utilizing one of them right now. Now, if he has the Darkness energy for this Yveltal, there's the Hypnotoxic Laser, so this Flareon's going to be taking 30 in between turns. Man. If it's unable to retreat and he gets an Oblivion Wing off, it's actually going to be knocked out going back into Brad's turn, which is the absolute worst thing to ever happen with Poison, is when you get knocked out going back into your opponent's turn. So we see the Ultra Ball here. What would he go after? Very good question. He's going to get rid of Lysander and an N. I guess he could go for Jirachi EX if he has one and go for Professor Sycamore. Looks like... Oh no, he's going for Maxie's. That's even better. Okay, now... Once he gets this into play, Dallin's Pokemon will be unable to attack. He could also go for Gallade, but I don't think that one's in his discard pile this game. He is going for the Archeops. Okay. Now we finally see an Archeops come into play. After hosting Brad now for the total of 5 games, we finally see Archeops come into play right when he needed it the most, honestly. This Flareon is on the verge of getting knocked out. That Eevee on the bench now cannot evolve. That is just insane. And what's even better is Dallin cannot get any Combi into play either. His only chance is to get a Wobbuffet into play, make that the active, in the same turn that he has all of the things set up to evolve. That's really his only hope right here. We see a Battle Compressor getting rid of another Maxie's. There's no reason to have that in his deck anymore. He has the Archeops in play. It'll stay there basically forever. Getting rid of another Battle Compressor because there's nothing else he wants to discard. And we'll see if he goes for another card to get rid of. It looks like he won't. Okay, looks like Brad has the severe advantage of this game. He took a quick game 1. Can he take a quick game 2? I'm sure Dallin would feel better about Brad having to actually take all 6 of his prizes this time, but that's not too out of the realm of possibility. We do see a Trainer's Mail for another Ultra Ball. Maybe Brad will use that now, maybe he won't. He could opt to get nothing and just put more things in his discard pile to use later, but we'll see. The problem is he still does not have a double color... he just attached a double colorless to Darkrai. He still does not have a Darkness energy to attach to this Yveltal, so that Flareon is staying alive at least for now. We see the double colorless go onto the benched Eevee, and there's the N from Dallin. Not as powerful as an N as he would have liked, I don't think, because Brad's still getting 5 cards, and that's probably all he needs at this point. But Dallin's getting 6, and hopefully from that N to 6, he can get something working here. Maybe Wobbuffet, maybe... who knows? So there is the Wobbuffet, and there's a Shaman. Man, I don't think that... yeah, okay, it looks like he did bench the Wobbuffet. He could play the Shaman and get even more cards. We'll see if he opts to do that. I honestly don't think he should. But at the same time, this Flareon I mean, this Flareon can knock out this Yveltal, but then what? It's just going to get hit by the Darkrai, and Dallin can't get another Flareon or a Combi slash Vespiquen into play. It's just not going to happen. Dallin's at such a disadvantage now. Brad is on the verge of winning regionals, and Dallin can't do anything about it. Brad's deck was just too quick, and he just had the most horrible luck. He is going to Vengeance for knockout, take his first prize. Now, they are tied on prizes, but Dallin cannot evolve, and Brad has several things just set up to wreck Dallin's team. This Night Spear from Darkrai will definitely hurt a little bit. So, but at the same time, Brad does want to get set up just in case this Darkrai gets knocked out for some reason. Not only that, he can't take a prize off of this Flareon, so we'll just see what happens. Now, the Life Dew even blocks taking a prize if it's knocked out by poison. There was that thing where Lugia EX only took an extra prize if your opponent was knocked out by an attack. It didn't take an extra prize by poison, so that kind of ruined people's calculations with their math and stuff like that. Life Dew prevents that prize being taken even if you're knocked out by poison. No matter what, if the Pokemon's knocked out, your opponent cannot take one prize out of it. I mean, if it's on an EX, they take one prize, but not two. It's one less prize than normal. So, I guess Brad went for the end there. Now, what will he be going for? What will he put down on that bench? Is he going to put down another small Yveltal, maybe? If he has one, of course. I think that might be the best thing because he can use Oblivion Wing to start powering up things on the bench if it ever comes to that. Of course, the more Pokemon he knocks out on Dallin's side, the more powerful Vengeance and Be Revenge gets. The thing is, Dallin has to actually get those cards into play. The Flareon and the Vespiquen, and that Archeops prevents that from happening. Archeops, the card that's been around since Noble Victories, the third black and white set, and has only just started getting play thanks to Maxie's Hidden Ball trick. We do see the Ultra Ball for the Keldeo EX. Not a bad card at all. And we do see the Night Spear for knockout. Brad cannot take a prize from that. And all damage to the bench is prevented thanks to Mr. Mime's bench barrier. So Dallin promotes the Wobbuffet. Now the abilities work. Now he's what am I talking about? Now abilities don't work. Archeops' Ancient Power does not work, which means that Dallin can evolve that Eevee into Flareon if he so chooses. It'd be ideal if he had a Combi into play right now that he can also evolve into Vespiquen. Flareon's the Pokemon that's a bit more powerful in this situation just because it does have 10 more HP. It's not one-shotted by Darkrai. It will take an extra 10 damage to knock it out. One of those annoying things that works perfectly for Dallin and that Brad just has to worry about a tiny bit more. Anyway, what can Dallin do here? This Wobbuffet has 110. If Brad manages to find his Muscle Band, well, never mind about that, because he has a Float Stone on that Darkrai, so this Wobbuffet is safe for at least one turn. Hopefully that one turn is enough for Dallin to come up with something to win this game, and win this, and tie up this championship series, hopefully force a Game 3 where he can win the entire regional championships. Brad is just 5 prizes away from becoming the Winter Regional Champion for St. Louis. Now it's up to Dallin to make sure that doesn't happen, because he wants that championship title. I mean, who wouldn't? We see Dallin contemplating playing an Ultra Ball. The thing is, he cannot bring that Execute back out of his discard pile to use Propagation, thanks to his own Wobbuffet's Bide Barricade. It's an annoying thing where you have to sacrifice your own abilities for the sake of giving yourself a chance of evolving your Pokemon to do something. Looks like he's going to look through Brad's discard pile before deciding which cards he's going to discard with Ultra Ball. That Ultra Ball is on the field now, so he is committed to playing it. Hard to see what cards he has in. Oh, that's horrible. He has an Eevee, a Flareon, and a DCE in his hand. He has to pick 2 of them to discard, and I'm sorry about that. I'm uploading the other matches right now, and my internet doesn't like that. So he is going to. It looks like he's going to think about getting rid of the Eevee. He has Eevee, Flareon, and a DCE. Ideally, he wants to keep the Flareon and evolve it right now because this is probably his only chance to do that. But no, he's going to get rid of the Eevee and the Flareon, keep the double colorless energy. What's he going to get with the Ultra Ball? Maybe he can get another Flareon just for the sake of putting even more Pokemon in his discard pile to do even more damage. Oh man, he could. He's going to go for Shaman EX. I hope he remembers that Bide Barricade makes that useless, because he just went for Shaman EX without even pausing. It was just in his deck and he went for it. He is okay. There's the DCE on the Wobbuffet. He can retreat that. Okay, he is going to retreat that, but now his Eevee cannot evolve. He is going to play Shaman and use its setup ability. Promote the Mr. Mime. Now, Mr. Mime is resistant to Dark. Maybe it's not. It's hard to see. Maybe it's not resistant to Dark. My mistake. In any case, it's definitely going to be knocked out by this Darkrai EX if it stays here. So, off of those 6 cards that Dallin got, he did get a Combee. But now he can't evolve that or his Eevee because Ancient Power is back. It's one of those things you just have to juggle around your abilities. Do you want to shut down all abilities, or do you want to give all abilities back for just a second and hope that it works? We are going to see the Battle Compressor, I am assuming. Getting rid of a Jirachi EX and a Combee. And is that it? That's it. Jirachi's basically useless. And Combee is basically useless in this matchup. And now he just has to pass. Says, you know what, Brad, take this knockout too. I need to buy myself a turn or two to get set up if possible. So, it's Brad's turn. Okay, the Mr. Mime is resistant to Dark, but Darkrai's Night Spear is still hitting for 70 even after that. So it's doing exactly enough to this Mr. Mime to knock it out. The thing is, Mr. Mime is going to be alive just long enough to prevent that bench damage. So, okay, it looks like we don't even need to worry about that. Brad's just going to Lysander the Eevee, take another prize. But if the Mr. Mime were knocked out, it would still prevent the sniping to the bench. So, no matter what, Mr. Mime is a very big problem for Brad. Darkrai is built completely around doing a little bit at a time to the bench and then just dwindling down your opponent from the back. But as long as Mr. Mime's there, that strategy is useless. We see the VS Seeker for the Professor Juniper. We see another Combee hit the bench, and there is the Juniper play, getting rid of an Audino and another Wobbuffet. And we'll have to see what Dallin gets off of these 7 cards. Can he pull off a miracle here? There's the Vespiquen. Thanks to Wobbuffet's Bide Barricade, he is able to evolve. Floatstone on Wobbuffet, DCE on Vespiquen, and now we're going to actually see a B Revenge. How much damage does it do? It appears no matter how much it is enough to knock out the Darkrai and put Dallin ahead on prizes. And now Brad is in a very bad situation. He does not have anything else set up to knock that out, to knock out that Vespiquen. His only hope right now is to somehow get that Darkrai set up right now, knock out the Vespiquen, and make sure that, well, the Wobbuffet has a Floatstone on it too, so even if he does knock out this Vespiquen, Dallin can just promote the Wobbuffet, evolve into another Vespiquen, DCE, then retreat into that Vespiquen. Brad suddenly finds himself in a very bad situation here. He's just going to promote the Shaman EX. Not a bad idea at all. If he gets the DCE, he can just attach to it and use Sky Return. Looks like he has a Keldeo EX in his hand as well, so he can always just use that, rush in, and we'll see what Brad manages to do here. But I think it's safe to say he might be in a bit of a pickle. Dallin did get his B Revenge Vespiquen out into play at the perfect time when Brad is not set up for an answer at all. Now, Brad is in a very bad situation, and Dallin suddenly finds himself at the top of this match, right when it looks like he was mere moves away from losing. Now, he really, really wants that championship title. He's 1 or 2 games away from winning. Brad already has 1 game under his belt. He just really, really, really wants to make sure that Brad cannot win. Brad is going to computer search here. He has a very thin deck. We'll see what he goes for. I count maybe a dozen or less cards. He is going to get the double colorless energy. And that is, oh, there's one more left in his deck, and let's see, I see a Muscle Band, several Darkness Energy. We'll see if he attaches this to the Shaman and uses Sky Return. I bet that's exactly what he's going to do. He could always retreat the Shaman if he wants, but there's really no point since everything on his side of the field is now knocked out thanks to Be Revenge. Oh man, Brad. All he can hope to do, I guess, is do chip damage to this Vespiquen, promote maybe the Archeops as a single prize sacrifice. Oh man. Suddenly Brad's in a very bad situation. I bet he wished he had the Hypnotoxic Laser right now for the Vespiquen. I guess he just doesn't run too many of them. I've only ever seen him play one a game maximum. So maybe he only does run the one, and then Verbank is the stadium to both be a counter stadium and to add the poison damage. I really don't know. We'll have to see what Brad does here. We do see the VS Seeker. He has not played a supporter yet this turn, so I wonder if his Gallade is prized. His Gallade might be prized, and we do see him get the in, and he will play it. Hopefully giving himself a few more turns to come up with something to get back on top of this. He's only 4 prizes away from becoming the Regionals champion. And he doesn't want this little bee to stand between him and his championship title. So he gets 4 prizes, Dallin gets 3. So obviously he got the better pick from the end. We do see another Ultra Ball from his end. He's getting, I think I see another Shaman EX in there. No, I don't. The only Pokemon he has left is this little Yveltal that he just got. It's kind of sad when you get to the end of your deck, you can see what all's there, and you just know there's nothing that can save you. So Dallin just might tie the series up, and it'll go to the final game of the entire regional championship, Game 3. Unless Brad can, again, Dallin pulled off a miracle, maybe Brad can pull off a miracle. He is going to just Sky Return, put the Shaman and the double colorless energy back into his hand and promote the small Yveltal as a 1 prize sacrifice. He just decided that the Archeops is too valuable to give up. Better just give up this Yveltal, which is basically useless. Sure, give Dallin a prize, but maybe give himself a turn to think up something to come back to this. I guess he was really hoping for maybe a Dark Patch for the Darkrai and another Darkness Energy on his next turn, because that would be enough for this Vespiquen to be knocked out. As it is, he's just going to have to, I guess, be patient, run down the clock as much as possible in his favor, force a Game 3, and hopefully get a quick win then. And there's the Hex Maniac from Dallin's side, and he is going to play that. So now all of Brad's abilities are shut off. So, man. So now Dark Cloak doesn't work, now Ancient Power doesn't work, now things like Setup or Stellar Guidance don't work. Of course, we saw that Brad doesn't have any Pokemon in his reserve anyway, and this Darkrai is one-shotted by Be Revenge, so unless he can pull off a miracle here, there is the Hypnotoxic Laser. Maybe, just maybe, he can put this Vespiquen to sleep and keep it asleep. Because that could potentially win him the game. We'll have to see, though. There is the Shaman EX and the double colorless onto it. He cannot use Setup, but he can still use Sky Return. Okay, he's going to use a combination of Sky Return and Hypnotoxic Laser, knock out this Vespiquen. His abilities are back thanks to the Hex Maniac running out. Unfortunately, Wobbuffet's tilting. He does take a prize. He can. It's going to be an uphill battle. He can keep putting down the Shaman and attaching the double colorless energy, but then he needs a way for retreating back into it. He's out of Float Stones. He's out of DCEs. It looks like Brad won. Unless he conceded. Hold on, let me listen in.
So that last prize, Edie, is the difference between going to a Game 3 and Brad winning, but congratulations to Brad.
It looks like Brad won. Man, Dallin conceded, and Brad is your regional champion for the 2016 Pokemon St. Louis Regional Championships. So, congratulations to Brad. Very good deck. It was a whole lot of fun commentating this, and I hope you all enjoyed my commentary. No offense to any of the commentators at the official streams. I I just wanted to do this because you guys have been wanting it for almost a year now. I think I owed it to you guys. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope to do this again in the future. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.